So Sam Raimi's follow-up to the cult classic from 1981, Evil Dead 2, is out. It's been restored, and we are reviewing it today on Boys on Film. So if you are new to this channel, don't forget I also do lots of interviews, Marriott Meets, you can find lots of entertainment stuff on here, as well as Boys on Film. Raj is here.
Hey Phil.
And we do movie and TV reviews on Monday and Friday. Sometimes occasionally we throw a few extras in.
Just occasionally.
Yeah, value for money. Not that you're paying. Well, not yet anyway. So Evil Dead 2, I'm a massive fan of the original. We've talked about this before. You've seen the original, you saw it as a kid like I did.
Yeah, I saw Evil Dead, the original, in the movie theater with my dad. Scared the cream corn out of me.
Oh yeah.
I think I watched the whole film like this.
I think the second one more so is more of a comedy than the first.
Yeah, but big shocker here, I never ever saw Evil Dead 2 until watching it on this brand new 4K restoration.
Do you want to start with that, the restoration first, because it is pretty impressive, isn't it?
Well, yes, the restoration, super impressive. I mean, I've seen clips of Evil Dead 2, so I kind of knew what to expect. My other half watches the TV show Ash versus the Evil Dead.
I love that.
So I kind of knew what to expect, and I knew it was going to be an old movie. I have to say, I didn't like the movie. I think if you didn't grow up with it, you're not going to understand its camp or appreciate its camp. So I kind of laughed my way through the movie, but knowing what the original movie originally looks like, I was super impressed with this 4K restoration. In fact, I put out an Instagram about it, and people were already asking questions about it. So,
and not just that, but the special features. I mean, there are, I think it's about 4 hours of special features on the Blu-ray.
It's like two extra movies.
It's amazing. I mean, it's such good value, and it's great for fans that, you know, love the original to begin with when they saw that back in the late 80s, and obviously have seen the first one as well, because you get a lot of the behind the scenes footage, you get a lot of interviews, you see a lot of stuff that, you know, you hadn't previously seen. So I think it's a treat for fans, this package.
Yeah, and you know, I think this is becoming a bit more of a trend these days, these 4K restorations. I mean, we saw it with Heathers, we saw it with The Fog, and with those two films I really didn't notice that much of a difference in the 4K restoration. But I have to say, I'm super impressed with how they did Evil Dead 2, because you know that film is like originally grainy, but it's so like crisp and clear, and it's like, how did they do that?
Yeah,
like seriously, some love, sweat and tears was put into this restoration, and if I were a fan of the Evil Dead franchise, I would super appreciate this.
Now we should talk about the story. I mean, really, to be completely honest, there isn't much of a plot. I mean, the second movie is pretty similar to the first one, and it is kind of repetitive in the sense that Ash goes to a cabin in the woods with his girlfriend. It's like kind of romantic break, and a lot of sinister stuff happens in this cabin, which, you know, you obviously remember from the first one, because that's what happens in the first. So you see a lot of people getting, you know, terrorized, demonized by this force, this evil force, and you see these people just becoming ghouls, I guess, just kind of like zombies.
What more is there to say?
Under the floorboards. But then saying that, the third movie, Army of Darkness, which I think came out in the early 90s, 93, I think it came out.
Oh, there's a third. I didn't realize that was okay.
Very, very different, because at the end of Evil Dead 2, you'll see obviously it goes back in time. Ash gets transported back. So yeah, it completely changes the dynamic of the movie. But the second movie, I mean, you mentioned the comedy. That's quite an interesting point, because I remember seeing Evil Dead 1 when I must have been about 12 or 13. I think it came out in 81. And I think it took a while to actually come out, because I think they started working on it in the late 70s.
Yeah.
And it was such a low budget movie, and it made millions because of its cult following. And obviously eventually it became a real classic, real horror classic. But Sam Raimi, he has a real knack for making his movies just visually stunning and very, very full on, because this is, you know, I mean, it's a horror, but it's more like a comic book horror.
Like, seriously, the bit where the girlfriend zombie is animated dancing around in the forest, like, I was like, come on now, that's so funny. And I know this is like special effects in the 80s, but I'm like, this is so funny.
But it's deliberate.
There's very opening scene in the movie where a yellow car is going over the bridge. And it's so out of proportion, like the car to the bridge. And I'm like, really?
Again, that's deliberate, because it's kind of comic book, isn't it? You think of how animation is. But I think it's that distortion, isn't it? That distortion makes it surreal. And it is quite a surreal movie.
Oh no, the bridge is out. It's all curled up.
Yeah. I think Sam Raimi is a brilliant director, and obviously he wrote this as well. Bruce Campbell, I've got to say, is phenomenal in the second movie. I mean, he's great in the first one. There's a scene where he's in the kitchen and he's been tormented by the demon that's possessed him.
Yeah.
And he's throwing himself around against the cupboards and doing backflips on the floor. And yeah, I mean, he did his own stunts.
He must have had a lot of fun making this movie.
Yeah, I think that shows as well. I think it really shows that he really loves what he's doing. And obviously you mentioned the series Ash vs Evil Dead, which I think is on its 3rd season now.
It's doing quite well.
So we have got 2 copies of this to give away. If you want to leave a comment below, answer the question. The question is, who directed Evil Dead 2? I'm going to give you a clue, if you don't know already. He also directed the first one. No surprises there, quite an easy question. So leave a comment below, leave your answer below, and we'll pick out a winner, and we'll let you know who the winner is.